Hello and welcome to our webcast for February 21, 2020. Yeah, don't say 2019, we lost a little. Okay, my name is Christian Debré and this is Amy Asbrook, the girl who are 1 year uh, later. Okay, uh, uh, joining us is Taylor Hyatt somewhere here. Okay. And Turo Vivant Not Dead Yet is a non-religious organization by and for people with disabilities and our allies. We believe that the choice to die is not a free as long as old, ill, and disabled people doesn't have a free choice in where and how they live. And that must
Okay.
change. Okay, today's topics. We have three topics. The first one is no free choice, Christine Benoit. The second one is the expert of Face Off, the LFX groups versus EAG. The third one is ministers ask for extension to revise the MAiD law. So Amy will help us through those
I
subjects.
will do my best anyway. Okay, so our first topic is no free choice, Christine Benoit. In October of 2017, Christine Benoit had surgery at St. Vincent Hospital in Ottawa. And by August of 2018, she was ready to leave the hospital. But due to a shortage of personal support workers, or PSWs, to help with daily tasks at home, she was unable to return to her apartment.
What a surprise.
Quelle surprise. Except for brief weekly visits to her apartment to avoid losing her rent subsidy, Ms. Benoit was isolated in the hospital and felt her health and spirits decline. It's just depressing, she told the CBC. Being stuck in this environment is killing me. I can see day by day that I'm deteriorating.
Yeah, it's obvious. When your moral doesn't go down,
Right,
your health go down too.
exactly. The CBC first brought attention to Ms. Benoit's plight in a November 2018 article. In that report, the journalist quoted the CEO of the Local Health Integration Network, who said that six others people were in the same situation.
It was not able to find enough people to care of only seven people.
Right, but in fact, in another article later, Ms. Benoit said that people were approaching her and saying, I can work for you. So I think it was more a case of coordination with the agency. And that's one of the reasons that we talk about people hiring
Somewhere in a small box.
Woohoo! Okay. So the CBC followed up shortly after Christmas when Ms. Benoit said that she was thinking of filing a human rights complaint. Within a week, coverage had been arranged.
What a surprise!
And Christine Benoit was able to
Miracle!
get home. Woo!
Miracle!
Go ahead, Taylor.
We could not hear you. Have you hit the silencing the microphone or something like that?
Don't know.
Okay, so we have to continue.
Okay, sorry about that. She told CBC that she had to micromanage her entire exit. As of January of 2000, number of people stuck or lack of home care had risen to 11. Ms. Benoit encouraged others to keep strong and keep on them. She said, you're not bothering them. You have to be the squeaky wheel. And the coverage of the issue did not feature the emotional language that we've noted in articles about life ending decisions by other disabled people. The reporter kept the focus on the flaws in a policy that keeps people in the hospital where they would be happier at home and their care would be less expensive if they were at home.
Yeah, there is proof that it's less expensive to keep people at home.
Right. And the thing is, I couldn't help but wonder if she had said, "Oh, I want assisted suicide," how the reporter would have changed the way the reporter wrote up the story. So in a sense, it's good that they didn't, but it just sort of tells you how it's the same issue, but all of a sudden when somebody says assisted suicide, it changes the way that reporters talk about it. Okay, our second topic, the experts face off, the Halifax group versus EAG in a smackdown. Okay, sorry. The two committees of experts have released reports on the topic of assisted suicide and euthanasia for people with psychiatric disabilities within the span of 3 weeks. The reports reach very different conclusions. Mm-hmm. The Halifax group in this corner includes 8 members of the Council of Canadian Academies Working Group, which studied medical assistance in dying, where a mental disorder is the sole underlying medical condition, or MD-SUM. See our webcast from February 8th of 2019. The group came together to draft recommendations on how to expand eligibility for people with psychiatric disabilities, since the CCA working groups were not asked to take a position or make recommendations. On January 20th of this year, the Halifax group released a report entitled MAiD Legislation at a Crossroads, a report that includes 12 policy and legislative recommendations. For example, the federal and Quebec governments should not amend their laws to exclude all persons with MD from accessing MAiD.
Double negation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Double negative works out to a positive.
February 16th, American activist Annie Barbarin posed.
Okay, go ahead.
Nope. Testing.
Yep, I can hear you. You're fading in and out.
Something goes wrong with your equipment, probably. Your mic doesn't work properly.
The connection is not stable.
No, the connection should look like good because the image is good, and the image is more fragile than sound, and probably it's your equipment.
Okay, well, be that as it may. The double negative in their wording. So when they say the federal and Quebec government should not amend their laws to exclude all persons with MD sunk from accessing MAiD, that works out to a positive, meaning that eligibility should be expanded to allow assisted suicide and euthanasia for people with psychiatric disabilities.
Yeah.
It's a little screwy. Why they wrote it that way is not is create confusion.
Yeah, a creepy way and very tortured way to tell it.
Tortured, yeah.
Yeah, very
tortured.
Twisted, yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. The federal and Quebec governments should not require that the decision be non-ambivalent. This is another double negative that translates to it's okay.
Right.
It's okay to euthanize the person even if they express mixed feelings about their choice, which using double negatives and not being clear, but also what they're saying is bad.
Right, would they have given in?
Okay. The legislature should add a requirement that the decision to request MAiD be well considered to ensure that the decision-making process is well thought out and not impulsive. The definition of well considered should include that the person has given the matter careful thought on the basis of adequate information and an understanding of their condition and any alternatives to MAiD. And no, these are not the Applebaum decision-making criteria. Go ahead, Taylor. Are you there?
We heard you laugh, and that was it.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. The medical practitioners are of the opinion that the person should not change their mind about wanting euthanasia if MAiD were not provided. Another of their recommendations is that clear standards for clinical assessments of MAiD requests by persons with MD sunk should be drawn up by provincial regulators, which makes sense, but it's kind of a, no-brainer on that one. They should establish training programs for providers and a consultation service, and improve mental health services and community supports. The last one that we mentioned, the last recommendation, is the federal government should establish an after-the-fact peer review process for all MAiD requests where the person did not have a terminal diagnosis. This would be in effect outside Quebec and for an initial period of 5 years.
Oh, after the fact.
Yeah.
Whoops, we missed one.
Yeah, so if they find, instead of doing the review before the person is killed, they do the review after, which is...
And you just have to remember that in case of mental health problem, there is no emergency at all.
Right, exactly. We're not talking people who are at the end of life here.
Yeah.
And so why they're excluding Quebec and why they only have an initial period of 5 years, they're saying maybe it could be extended, but,
Yeah, but when when you put your finger in the roller, all the arm goes in and the rest follow.
Yeah. Okay. So in response to all this, 12 experts produced a report entitled Canada at a Crossroads, challenging what they see as the flawed conclusions of the Halifax group, and to provide, quote, an evidence-based review and recommendations to guide policy regarding medical assistance in dying and mental disorders. The expert advisory group, so this is the second group, includes 3 of the remaining members of the Mental Disorders Working Group, 3 members of the Advanced Request Working Group from the CCA, and the 6 other external experts, 3 of whom have lived experience with physical or psychiatric disabilities.
Is my sound working again?
That's working right now.
Yes.
And no, it's not.
Okay, great.
There you are. Go ahead.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know.
Right. The EAG believes that a central message of the CCA expert panel report was that there was no agreement on whether medical assistance in dying for mental disorders could be safely introduced without unduly risking the lives of vulnerable persons. And determinations of irremediability and irreversible decline cannot be made for mental illness at this time. So the EAG therefore recommends the law reflect that people who apply for MAiD only because of a mental disorder cannot fulfill MAiD eligibility.
No. That's the best.
So no, they're not eligible. It's not going to work. Don't do it.
Because there is no proof that there is no treatment for any kind of sickness related to health. Mental health.
What they're saying is that there's no proof that it can't be treated.
That's what I try to tell.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the EAG also supports a criterion that there be no reasonable alternative for all MAiD applications. And that requirement is appears elsewhere in the world. So, and I really should have written that better. I didn't do a very good job of writing that. But basically, what we're saying is that elsewhere in the world, the person has to have exhausted all other possibilities for treatment before they can get euthanasia.
Yeah, exhaustively.
Right. But in Canada, the person can just say, oh, I don't think I want to try that treatment.
And that's it.
And
they
that's
kill
it.
you.
You know, go ahead, Taylor. You want to give it a shot? No, we're not hearing you.
I don't know what's happening. In French, it was working perfectly. In English, you seem to have problems.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, the expert advisory group endorses the Halifax group's recommendation for improving access to mental health and community-based supports. Okay, so the third topic is ministers ask for extension to revise the MAiD law. On February 17th, Attorney General David LeMaitre filed a motion asking for an additional 4 months to amend the MAiD statute.
Okay, you just have to remember that it doesn't put the case to appeal.
Right,
Okay?
exactly.
Who should solve all those problems.
Right.
But now they are touched by
the Applebaum criteria are that you have to understand information, apply that information to your own situation.
It seems that you have a lot of delay between what you tell and what we heard on the show right now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So basically, they're applying for an extension because they didn't appeal the decision, which they should have done. And now they find, lo and behold, gee, it's taking longer than they expected. Quelle surprise.
And the clock's still clicking.
Right. In the Truchon decision, a Quebec Superior Court found that the federal law's requirement that a person's natural death must be reasonably foreseeable was too restrictive and therefore unconstitutional. The federal government was given 6 months to update the law. But of course,
there was an
election
yeah.
intervened, so that didn't work. Parliamentarians reportedly needed more time to review proposed changes. If nothing is done by March 11th, the reasonably foreseeable requirement will be suspended in Quebec.
So they doesn't have enough study, they doesn't have enough knowledge, and they doesn't have enough time, and they try to put the law online to kill people.
Right. And
believe it or not.
Right. And so the other thing is, instead of just saying, okay, well, this decision came down, and so we need to adapt the law to fit with the decision. No, they're trying to expand it beyond, expand eligibility beyond what the decision called for. So without having a 5-year review, without even the first report from their surveillance
and without knowledge,
system.
Not enough knowledge and understanding of what's happening.
Right. In a joint statement, Minister LeMaitre and Health Minister Patty Hajdu recognized that medical assistance in dying is a complex and deeply personal issue. But of course, they disregarded that it's a political issue. Said they remain committed to responding to the court's ruling as quickly as possible. And we note that Carla Qualtrough, Minister of Employment and Disability Inclusion, was not included as an author on the joint statement.
So she's probably the one who is the most aware and who have the most knowledge of the problem inside the government. But because she's not on the same line that other minister, they just put her again away instead to learn from her.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, disability policy is being made without the input of the disability community, and nothing about us without us is gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was this? The sound? To catch everyone up on my comments. To catch everyone up on my comments from earlier, days ago. Okay.
We're getting sort of random noise from your side. I think we're going to just close it out. So if you want more information about the topics that we discuss here, you can visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/toujourdsvivant, not dead yet, all one word. Visit our website at tvndy.ca. You can email us at info@tv-ndy.ca, or you can follow us on Twitter @TVNDY. Thanks to Christian for helping out. And
thank you, Amy.
Sorry about the sound problems on Taylor's end. This is the first time we've used this software, and we don't know why it's not working right. So we will try to improve that.
And the bizarre thing is that the first time we use it properly, it worked good.
It was perfect. So I don't understand what the problem is. Anyway, so
take care, everybody.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye.